Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Combiner Wars Voyager class SkyLynX, a figure that a lot of people, including myself, have really been looking forward to. For the package, you got this nice open window here, which allows you to see the figure within. You got the Transformers and Generation logo on the side. On the front here, you got a really cool kind of artistic image of a updated sort of looking SkyLynX, kind of going along with how he looks here in toy form. And then on the side, you can see Skyrain. You see it's number 3 of 5, and you can run here to the back, and you can see that SkyLynX actually transforms to make up the torso for Skyrain, with Wheeljack, Hound, Smokescreen, and Trailbreaker making up his limbs. And you can see that he transforms in 19 steps, and then you got an image of his beast mode, I guess, as well as his space shuttle mode. And it says, SkyLynX often talks about himself as one of the most accomplished Autobot warriors. Now that he has mastered the power of combination, he really has something to brag about. His new combined form, Skyrain, is a ferocious combiner beast. And of course, because this is a Voyager figure, all we get with it is a collector card. We don't get the comic book that we get with the deluxe figures, which is kind of disappointing because I would really like them, to expand on that bio. That's something that I really like with those comic books that they, have on the back of the book. And it's kind of unfortunate that the Voyager figures with the higher price point don't come with that. But for the packaging on the guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have SkyLynX opened up and out of his packaging. And I'm really quite impressed with how this guy turned out. I'm really very happy with him. And as you can see, while he is a little bit updated in terms of some of the looks and the aesthetic and stuff, he really is a nice representation of how he looked in G1. But there is something that people do complain about this. In the G1 cartoon and the toy, you remember that there was 2 different parts to him. You had Sky and Lynx, basically. You had the aspect of them that made up the space shuttle here, and then the carrier section down here in the bottom became the Lynx. Now, while they still sort of homage that by having him form Skyrain, which utilizes that Lynx head, they decided to incorporate both into this, and I really don't mind. I mean, would it have been cool to be able to separate it and just have a space shuttle? Sure, absolutely. But honestly, SkyLynX was primarily seen like this, or even when he was in his beast mode combined. Now, for some comparisons, we're going to take a look at a couple here. This is, like I said, a Voyager figure, so this is the only Voyager one that I have kind of on hand right now. But here's Scattershot. As you can see, he's a little bit smaller, obviously, than Scattershot here is, but I think Voyager-wise, he's still a pretty decent size. I mean, the Scattershot kind of gets a little bit longer because this is a little bit more extended of a barrel, so size-wise, I still think it looks pretty good. Because I haven't brought this guy in a long time, here is the G1 version. And again, like I said, you had that little carrier thing here on the bottom, which most people displayed him like this. Very rarely did people display him separately. So incorporating it into one figure, I don't mind nearly all that much. And then obviously when he would transform, this would be the lower section of him, and again, that's pretty much how he usually was. Now, while this still does look pretty cool, there are some, deviations. I'm really not a big fan of these little sections right here. You can't take them off. They just are little friction tabs, and you can just take that off if you want to, and you can have a little bit more of that streamlined look. These come in handy when you're going to be using him as Skyrain, though. But one thing that, I mean, if you don't necessarily like the way that looks going backwards, you can reverse these and you can have it go like that. I actually think that looks a little bit better. If I was going to leave it on there, that's probably what I would do. But then it would be upside down in chess mode. And I'll show that here in a little bit. But there are different options that you have getting that on there that you could display him with. I really like how they have the Autobot logo with the gold. I mean, that's exactly what you have here with the original G1 toy. I really like that kind of carry through. You got some nice gold bits right here, which again, nicely replicate the gold that he had on the side. You got the gold for the windows here. You got some nice gold paint there as well. overall pretty decent. Honestly, one part that I would probably say I don't like all that much is this back section kind of hanging out here. While it's not bad, I mean, you can kind of see he's got some parts that hang out here anyhow, so I don't think it's all that bad. But if I were to nitpick, that back section, I would probably nitpick a little bit about. Now, as you can see, he's got weapons that store here on the side. In both vehicle mode and robot mode, they're pretty simple. I mean, you can plug them in there, or you can plug them underneath his wings, and you can give him some weapons as he flies around. Again, this isn't something that either the cartoon had or the toy had, but it's a little bit something different to add to him. I think it looks a little bit better if you just leave them along the side like that. Kind of fits a little bit better as opposed to a space shuttle having little guns underneath them. But they're just very simple pieces of plastic. Now you can combine them, and you will do that for his tail mode in beast mode. You just, let's see, you get these two sections, you line that up, give that a nice little squeeze, and that extends his tail a little bit. But again, we'll take a look at that here in a second. It just attaches via these little handles down here, which he can't hold, so I don't know why he has handles. But overall, really pretty nice. He doesn't have wheels, unfortunately. He's got fake ones right down here, and only really one. I mean, you can see that it kind of just rests on there, so it's kind of weird. He doesn't have two wheels to kind of utilize, but whatever. Now, to go to his torso mode, you want to take this, you're going to detach this, and just angle this up. You can really position this how you want. It just kind of sits there on his back section. Then you come around here, slide this piece out just like so, rotate these bits around, do that on both sides here, and then you angle right here. These are going to become his shoulders in robot mode, or his legs in combined mode. Then you just spin these around, collapse these, and you have to angle it out because it has to clear this section right here. So you just rotate that just like so, bring these in, and then you swivel these up and out just like that. So bring that down, swivel this up like that, and basically you have his legs done. These bits right here, you want to take these wings, fold these out just like so, and then you can move these back. If you don't, right up underneath the little thrusters here is where this section here kind of rests in. It goes in and kind of sits there. There's a little groove on the inside there, which is probably hard to see because this video is a little bit darker because he's a white figure, so I had to change some of the settings in there. But it fits in there very nicely, but you have to take it out if you want to rotate these back. And then you just take these sections here, spin these around, bring that down like so, do that over here as well, do that. Then you take this section, detach this, this is going to swivel down, and then the whole thing kind of swivels down right here. Sorry, put this piece up like that, and then rotate this all down. Bring this around like that, and then tab that in, fold these out to the side. If they didn't flop out to the side, you can flop them out there then, and then rotate his head. And then the instructions tell you, initially you're supposed to have it up like this, but then the instructions tell you to rotate these all the way back just like so. I would imagine that's just for clearance for the the arms and stuff. I mean, if you left it there, it would definitely get in the way, but I think that kind of looks cool. But here's his combined mode. Now again, like I said, you can swap these around. It looks a little bit better when they're up like that. You can swap these, and you can have them facing down. It looks a little bit better in jet mode, I think, but honestly, I don't think that looks all that bad there, especially since you're going to have the arms here, so it really doesn't matter. And then if you just took them off entirely, you kind of have these little gaps right here, but it's, it's all personal preference, what you like. For me, I'm never going to really display him as Skyrain. I'm doing the video, and obviously that's going to be seen then, but it's probably going to be the last time I have him as Skyrain, just because to me this is LYNX, and that works for me. I mean, you never had, well, I shouldn't say never, but you very rarely had this out in the cartoon or even the toy or anything. But I really like the head sculpt. That is really nice, cool looking head sculpt. The mouth doesn't open or close or anything, but it is molded with the mouth open. And obviously you got the little sections right here that slide in. That's where you're going to attach the arms, and down here you attach the legs. So overall, I mean, I do like them. I think that it looks cool, just really not for me. Now to transform him into his animal mode, I mean, you kind of are already along the way here. So you're just going to bring these down. You're going to rotate this, bring this around, and this will sit right there. And then you just angle these legs just like that. Do that on this side as well. Bring that around, tuck that up and in, and then just angle this just like so. And then you're going to take this, lift this off of this section here, get that kind of out of the way, rotate the head around like so, angle these out, and then you're going to rotate this whole section around, get that out of the way, rotate that up and around like that. Now this, you can kind of do a couple different things with this back section. I'll show you the proper way, or the way that they want you to do it. First we're going to rotate these around, and then let's see, yeah, it goes like that. So you rotate that just like so, do that on this side as well, rotate that around, angle that out, and then you have, get that like that. You got his little back legs. Take this section, you're going to tuck this up just like so. Now, the official transformation has you taking this, well, let's see. First, here, detach this section down like that. This section right here, this piece right here comes all the way down and then locks into that lower section. So you lock that into place like that. You can open his mouth up just like so, tuck this down. Now, like I said, the official transformation has you taking this, rotating this around, filling in that gap, and then taking this tail, extending this down, and they want you to bend this down as well. So, and then bring this out. So they want you to have his tail kind of bent like the back section here. So you can do it like that, you can put that up, it's personal preference, however you really want to do it. And then they tell you to take this, rotate this around, you got the little wings, rotate that around, you got the little wings. And this is what they show you as being the official transformation for this guy. I'm just trying to straighten out his legs here a little bit. Get that. Straighten them out there. There you have it. It's not bad. I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, you definitely have a slightly changed kind of look for him. And then for the tail, you just take this, and like I said, you got these little handles right here with a tab and a little slot here. So you just take this and you peg that there, and then you bring this around. You peg that there, and then you push the whole thing together, and that extends his tail, so you have a little bit longer of a tail. Honestly, to me, it doesn't look all that bad, but it also doesn't really look all that great. I think my personal kind of preferred look for it is leaving this up like that, taking this, folding this back, because you got this. I mean, when you have it like this, you have the Skyrain head, or just kind of right there. So put that up, rotate that up. You just kind of keep that hidden. And then I'm just going to rotate these around and put these back in kind of their G1 sort of configuration. And honestly, I think this looks a lot better. Now, he does have the little wings out here. You can tuck those away if you don't like that. But, I mean, he did kind of have the little blue bits that came out like so. So, personally, I think this looks better. But regardless of how you want yours to look, it's a personal preference kind of thing, but this is what I like for him. So there, I guess he is in his beast mode. But in general, I really do like the way that the guy looks. I think that a lot of people are being a little bit unfair in their assessment of him, because he's not exactly what we got with the G1 figure. And, you know, that... I don't want to say that's a valid complaint, because honestly, he's a lot like that G1 figure. So setting him there, we're going to do some comparisons. And here's the G1 version. And as you can see, it is a lot smaller. I mean, LYNX here in the G1 toy was a ridiculously big figure just by itself. But like I said, I think they did a pretty good job of kind of homaging the way that looks. I mean, you got the blue pieces here like I was talking about. You got those here as well. I mean, you can tuck those away just like you could tuck those away if you really wanted to. I do actually like his wings are articulated. I mean, you can bring them up like there. There's two different hinges right there. They can also rotate, so you can position them in a flying kind of pose. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. That's something that you couldn't do with that guy. You got this extra neck joint, so you can actually articulate him a little bit more. But all in all, I mean, it isn't as big, and obviously it doesn't have, you know, this gimmick, and obviously this doesn't walk, whereas this one did. But I mean, like I said, how often did we see LYNX like this? I mean, there were probably, the number of times that you saw this you could probably count on one hand. So I think that people are, just kind of, I don't want to say complaining for the sake of complaining, but I think that they're unfairly comparing this to the way that G1 toy was. We were never going to get something like that again. But this actually turns out pretty good. And now, yes, he is a little bit smaller, but for a comparison to a deluxe size figure, I think that he actually scales pretty decently. Obviously, he is a little bit different than what we're used to in the fact that he's not a humanoid sort of shape or anything, but I think scale-wise here, it actually comes across pretty nicely. Now, would it have been a little bit better had they made him a leader size? Probably, but you could make that argument a lot with a bunch of different figures. He would be a better figure if he was a Voyager, so I think just in general, complaining about size is kind of a silly thing to do nowadays. But for his articulation, like you could see, I mean, the wings, as I mentioned, can flap. They can move up and down like so. I guess, I don't know, you can maybe say that that's the point of joint, I suppose. You can move the tail up and down. You got another point of joint down here in his kind of butt area. This whole section detaches. Well, that's not supposed to, but so you do have another section right there that allows you to flex that around. When you have this attached, it's pretty much static. It's not going to be able to move anywhere, but you can just leave it up like that and it works perfectly fine. As you can see, the neck here is on a couple different hinges. If you don't tab this down, you can get another neck joint there, but I don't really think it matters all that much. So you do have that hinge right there. It does rotate. This section right here also hinges up. You can see that the head does have a bit of a hinge. You just kind of have to manipulate this section right here to try to get that around and out of the way to make the head move up and down. You got the mouth that opens. You got nice detail on here with some gold paint on the inside of his mouth. I guess hips for his animal mode. These ones here, because they're going to be the legs for his combiner mode. You got some soft ratchets going in and out. You got a rotation right here. I guess you could kind of say that these, which would maybe be his wrists, they can flex. I did see some people that were complaining about the tightness of these joints and how they can't support his weight. That's really not necessarily true. I mean, you can see there's nothing underneath here, and that supports it perfectly fine. In case yours is loose, there's a screw on the inside here. You just tighten it, so there's no problems on mine for the tightness, but you got a swivel right here. You got a knee joint, I guess, right back there, and then this moves forward and back. Both of those do that on that side. So you can see, I mean, he does have strong joints. Getting him, I'm trying to balance him here. It's not easy to do. I was pretty impressed that I actually did it the last time. So getting him to stand there, let's see. Are you going to stand? I'm trying to, there you go. You can see that balancing on that little tiny joint is perfectly fine, and that kind of looks funny how it is. But in general, really good amount of articulation on the guy. What you would expect on a beast kind of former, I suppose. I'm happy with him. I really am. I would have loved it if he was a little bit bigger, but it's not going to make me like this guy any less. I think they did a great job, really, with him. Now, like I said, the original transformation shows you having it like this, and this is supposed to be angled back. I just think that looks weird. Oh, and then these are supposed to be rotated around like so, and then angle these up like that. So that's how the official transformation has it, but honestly, and maybe you could put it back like that or something, and that doesn't look bad. I really do like that kind of G1 sort of look, and I think it's cool that you can actually accomplish that here. Now, to go back to his spaceship and carrier kind of mode, you're going to just take this, get this piece back, and that kind of gets stuck down there. You just rotate that like so. Take this tail section off, fling that other one out of the way. Just fling it, throw it away. Put that right there. Again, you're going to rotate these, just kind of get them out of the way. Come around here to the bottom, and let's see, how am I going to do this? Get this, bring this back. We can straighten that and tab that all in here in just a second. Bring this forward just like that. These feet right here collapse in, and then you bring them around just like so. They don't tab in or anything. They just kind of sit there like that, but they're not, as you can, they're not flopping or anything. I mean, that's a pretty sturdy kind of just friction joint for the rotation here. So Would it be nice if it tabbed in? Sure, but I don't think it's really all that necessary. You come around here, again, you want to have these angled out a little bit. Rotate this, rotate that around where the big part of the joint is facing in. Bring this in, fold the foot up, and then you tuck this up underneath just like that. And then the foot goes on either side of the face. So again, you're going to rotate this around. Oh wait, no, doing that wrong again. Around like so. Bring that up and in, and then you put that foot on that side. Kind of spread these out just a little so that you can get enough clearance to bring this back up like so. Tuck this down, and then you rotate these back and in, just like that. Kind of angle these how you want them, and then this whole section here, you just collapse everything in, and then push this in. It collapses and connects much like, you know, Silver Bowl and anything that uses that similar kind of mold. That's how this kind of tabs in. But once you're done, there you have SkyLynX back in his space shuttle mode. So yeah, all in all, I really think that they did a good job with this. Obviously, when you look at this, if you're a fan of Transformers from the G1 years and things like that, you're going to recognize this as SkyLynX. Now, one of the quintessential aspects of him was the separation into two different parts. But like I talked about, you could probably count on one hand the number of times that happened. So for me, it doesn't bother me all that much to have this be all just incorporated into one figure. And because of that, you do kind of get some, I guess, funny looking design choices. Like, for example, you know, when you had the arms down and everything, you had this little piece right here which kind of fills in the gap there. I didn't think it looked horrible. It wasn't something that really stuck out to me. In terms of just a general aesthetic, I think that these pieces sticking out the back here are probably a little bit more of an eyesore. I don't know what they could have done for that because you got this little gap in area. I mean, I thought maybe you could like rotate this around. If you could have done that and tuck that in, you know, that probably would have helped keep things like this back area a little bit more clean. But they couldn't do it for whatever reason. I mean, maybe if they did have this as a leader class figure, they could have done that. But it doesn't bother me really all that much. The transformation is pretty simple. It's very similar to the G1 toy, and I kind of dig that. A lot of these, you know, classic figures in this new Combiner Wars thing kind of have a similar feel to some of those transformations. And by that, I mean the simplicity of them. I mean, literally, all they really needed to do was have this extend out, become his head, have these swivel down, become, you know, legs. If they didn't put that, you know, Combiner Wars gimmick in here, they probably could have made this a little bit better of a homage to SkyLynX, but I'm happy with it the way that it is. And then in his SkyLynX mode, again, I really do feel that it just came together very nicely. For me, it definitely hits that, you know, SkyLynX spot, I suppose. And it's nice to get a new SkyLynX. I mean, we really haven't gotten a lot. We had the G1 figure, and then I think there was one in Cybertron, and then we got one in the Beast Hunters, which let's not even refer to that thing as SkyLynX. So it's cool to have a good SkyLynX. So yeah, guys, I like them, and I recommend them. Now I'm going to do another video for Skyrain just showing you how it all comes together, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But beyond that, guys, you know, that's about it for him. So if you're interested in picking this guy up, he is available here in the US at Big Bad Toy Store, or over in the UK at Kapow Toys. So depending on your location, you can click on the links down in the video description. Here in the US, you'll go to BBTS, or in the UK, you can go to Kapow, where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the Combiner War figures. But as I said, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribbled. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.